Hey everybody, it's BJ
And Patrick.
and we're back talking all things real estate. And if you haven't, give us a like and subscribe to the channel. And we're going to get right into it today because in British Columbia, we finally know what government we have.
After how many years? I mean, like it took like a week.
It took a week. There were recounts and so on. And so we know now that the NDP, by the hair of their chin, the skin of their teeth, have managed a majority government by 2 seats, I believe.
2 seat, 1 seat, whatever.
But they have a minimal
they're
majority.
the winners.
Right. So,
Okay.
So today we want to talk about what are our predictions, and then we'll revisit, in 6 months, and maybe we'll revisit in a year to see where we were at with what we expect the government to do. And
I can't wait to share my bingo card. Okay. These are our predictions for they're going to be in for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe some of this might be a little bit tongue in cheek. Maybe this is a little bit fun.
Yeah.
Maybe some of this is really serious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So right now the government is running a projected $9 billion deficit.
Wow. Okay.
So, and the expectation is
for a province of 4 million people.
Yeah, it's the highest deficit ever run in the province. Okay. And the expectation is that they will bring the provincial debt to $128.6 billion. Okay.
So this is going to be an inflation issue still in the next 4 years.
Well, and here's the other thing. This government has said spending is a priority.
So inflation's a priority, and that'll in turn cause other. Anyways, I'll stop.
Okay.
But yeah.
But so
right.
that is my expectation, is that we are going to see a ballooning of both debt and deficit in the next year for sure, and certainly during the term of this government, if that is their mandate, is to spend more money. Now, what does that look like? Because they're talking about a tax cut, $1,000 tax cut for households and $500 for individuals. And
$1,000 tax cut. What is that for?
A provincial tax of some kind. Obviously.
Oh, they're just going to rebate.
I guess.
Okay.
So here's the other thing that they have.
That's an election promise.
Yeah.
Okay.
So another promise that they made was that they pledged to continue increasing minimum wage based on inflation. So I think that we are, if that route gets kind of ridden out, we are going to see fewer local businesses in business.
Replaced by robots. And so if they're going to increase the minimum wage, this has always been my sort of thought process, right? So how many folks are earning a minimum wage? And then if I'm the government and I increase the minimum wage, how much of that will I get back in tax returns?
Yeah.
And now I'm going to increase it furthermore. So it would be amazing, I'll just throw this out there, what if they increase the first threshold for getting taxed? So it's like just under $10,000. Why don't we make it $20,000?
Sure. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do, but I believe that by continuing to increase minimum wage, you're going to make it harder and harder for small businesses to operate.
Yeah, robots, AI.
Well, or you're going to end up with small businesses that are run by the owner.
Or big corporations.
But where they're run by the owner and there's no room for staff.
Yeah, it's going to make it more difficult for the mom and pop shop.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay.
So that's one that I would say. The other is the NDP are talking about capping rental increases. So for renters.
Rent control.
Rent control, and that's fine. But I think out of that, we're also going to see, and because there's been talk about it, and now that there's a government, they can go ahead and do whatever they want, really, for the next 4 years.
So,
I think the other thing that we're going to end up seeing is the 2 months free rent when you're given notice to vacate.
This is your prediction?
Yes.
2 months free rent?
Yeah.
For tenants. Okay.
And what is notice right now? Is it 4 months?
It depends. It was 4 months. It went
Yeah.
to 3 months, but if you're not personally occupying, it's still 4 months.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would even make that distinction, because you
Yeah.
could take possession without moving in if it's just a rental. Like you
Yeah.
can do it in 2 weeks from now.
Right.
So I don't know why they even have that, but it got reduced to 3 months after everybody complained.
Yeah.
Rent control. So there already is a rent control right now between how much you can raise rent to the same tenant every year, and that's regulated, right?
Right.
So I think what they're talking about is the rent control between if a tenant leaves the property and you re-rent it out to somebody else, that it's
Yeah.
going to be a controlled increase amount, which hasn't improved. This is just a horrible policy. This is never, rent control in this way has never worked anywhere.
Sure.
It's made it worse. It incentivizes building investment for new rentals. So
Right. Yeah. Okay. And then,
that'll be a huge fail if we get that. I
Right.
think there's going to be,
and the other thing I think is that we started off by talking about how they want to streamline the process for construction and new builds and things like that. I think that's going to be a complete fail.
Oh, do you think so?
Yes,
Okay.
because it's not a provincial issue.
Their funding, like the federal government has their plan as well to like throw a bunch of money at municipalities so they can basically get more software to speed up the process and basically digitize the process altogether and have transparency. That's what from BC Builds and the federal government, I forget what it's called,
Yeah.
but Trudeau's calling it. But
Sure.
That's the goal of those.
But
those
I don't
things.
think that's going to fix the issue. So I know somebody who they went to a municipality in the area, and not Langford, because Langford's the one that's got the reputation for
I
approving.
know. Why don't we just carbon
approving
copy
stuff.
Langford already?
Right.
Why is this a mystery?
But let's just say they went to the municipality. They started some work on a commercial property, and
Oh,
then
they're in Victoria?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
and then they went through some zoning issues, which they were in the right.
Yeah.
But somebody ended up with egg on their face on the other end for them to be in the right. And so they end up now, every time they go back, well, that's good. We want you also to do this. And,
Oh, they're
yeah.
moving the goalposts.
Right.
Yeah.
And and we'd like this too. Yeah, and we'd like that too. And so you can give them all the streamlined process. You can give them all the software you want. But if somebody
I hope
keeps
this improves.
But
yeah.
if somebody keeps moving the goalposts, you're going to be like in the at the wharf, $1 million in 10 years and haven't broken ground.
Exactly. So
that's I think that's going to be a fail.
I hope that improves. I hope that does provide transparency for like here's the set parameters that you need, and then we'll approve it once those things are achieved. But is there any accountability? We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my other
I
question
really
is,
hope it's not a fail.
Who and when is this debt going to get paid back?
Oh no! You know what? That's okay. I'm going to be careful about what I say. You know what? The more debt you have, the longer you have it, the better. You know why?
Why is that?
Because it's worth less in 10 years from now.
Yeah, right.
Not that
So-
you just paid it down.
Yeah.
The money's not worth as much
Yeah. Right. So $128.9 billion.
thanks to inflation.
How's that getting paid back though? Who's paying that back? Our children? Our children's children?
Yes. All of those. Absolutely.
So-
the 43% on average that out of our incomes we pay out in all sorts of various taxes, that money. We don't have a housing crisis. We have a tax crisis.
Right?
We have a spending crisis.
Yeah. So
All right, we're getting off track here and having fun with it too.
Those are mine. Okay. The ballooning of the debt and deficit, the failure of the process to streamline approvals, the increase in the
Minimum wage.
minimum wage. We know that. I think that's going to have an adverse effect on local businesses, and then the 2 months notice.
The 2 months.
2 months
notice.
free rent. Pardon me.
months free
2
rent.
months free rent.
Okay, that's on BJ's bingo card.
Yeah.
I have 6 on my bingo card. Some one's almost the same, but different categories. I think they're going to double the speculation tax. They've already promised that, so that's an easy one.
Yeah.
But there's more to it than that. They're going to expand the affected area in BC until the entire province is affected, except for waterfront property, lakefront property.
Okay.
Rentals. I think the theme of private property rights are going to be trampled on
Yes.
more.
Yeah.
And we're going to see that with a complete removal of pet restrictions with strata. So that would be number 3, and rentals would be number 4. So landlords are not going to be able to restrict you having not having pets or a kind of a pet.
Yeah.
So even with stratas right now, like there's even if you get a place with that's allowed a dog, you know, it has to be this weight, it can only be this high, it can only be these breeds, it can only be it has to have approval from the strata corporation. Like there's all sorts of like customization around self-governance of strata corporations, condo buildings, townhouses. And then number 5, I think they're going to increase the flipping tax that we have in BC, which is really like it's like a provincial capital gains tax for making money on real estate, and or double the length to be exempt from that flipping tax. And then my favorite one, number 6, the home buyer's rescission period that's built in to protect people from not overpaying, but if people have cold feet because they may have felt like they overpaid for the property. Now the rescission period is a tool that can be exercised by a home buyer to back out of a real estate agreement with any excuse or no excuse at all.
If it's unconditional, because if you put conditions on your offer past the 3-day rescission period, it doesn't apply.
It would seem a little bit silly that you would exercise your rescission period if you still had subject twos. Why don't you just wait it out?
That's right.
Right, so you don't have a fee, a penalty associated.
The premise
with that.
when they introduced it was, in the hot market, this will let people breathe about the unconditional offer.
Yeah, did I pay too much or whatever, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and what do we know? Because we were the ones that said, the market has taken care of it. You don't need to introduce this. Because
it was changing already. It was too little, too late.
It was too little, too late.
So I believe the rescission period is going to go from 3 business days to a week.
5 business days.
It's going to be a full week, whatever it is, right? Just exactly the same as new construction.
Right.
Which we've had a rescission period ever since the Real Estate Development Marketing Act came out, whenever that was.
Yeah.
So, what's on your bingo card? What do you expect to change from the BC NDP party for the next 4 years, if it has to do with the rentals, housing, landlords?
Yeah.
Making evil speculators making money with real estate.
Right.
And whatever else it might be that's related to real estate. Yeah, share that with us in the comments below. We'd love to know that. Maybe we'll come up and discuss that in a future video.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for joining us. Give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you next time.